The mic was on. I checked that the mic was on, and then it turned off. I'm frustrated. That is frustrating. Seems to be on now. Well, let me tell you all that again. I really don't want to cut and start again. I might. We'll see if I edit. That's 3 full minutes of silence. Okay. What was I saying? Something profound and amazing. I have no idea when the mic turned off. Okay, I'll try and recap. I was practicing being in my body this afternoon. And it started out as seeming boring and mundane. But as I stayed with it, sometimes if I'm having trouble getting in touch with my body, sometimes I'll travel to different places of like, feel what it feels, you get much more like literally tangible, feel what it feels like with, how the clothes feel on your skin or something like that, how your body feels supported by where you're sitting or standing or walking. In this case, I didn't do that. I just stayed with being fully present and just feeling my body as a whole. And it felt boring. And I thought, okay, stay here with this boringness. I think sometimes there's a numbness that we're used to. I'm going off of some, words from a video that I watched the other day. But I was feeling that way today, and I was trying to apply what I heard to what I'm experiencing, because up until, so I had my daughter in the morning, and then she had a football game in the afternoon. And up until I handed her off to her dad later in the afternoon, I just kind of accepted that I wasn't, I was just kind of in a mundane presence. I was like, all right, life, and I was kind of noticing that things seem unexquisite and boring. Not, sometimes being bored is like unbearable. It wasn't unbearable. It was just like, noticeably normal, I guess. Part of it is that seeing my ex, her dad, I don't like it. There it goes. The mic turned off while recording. I don't know why. I wonder why. I wonder what is so intolerable for it to not be staying on. I don't know how this. Sometimes it's fun to discover why someone got rid of something that I then bought secondhand. Usually it's fine. God, I hope it's capturing sound. Okay. Continuing on, and watching that light go from blue to red. Here, I'm going to show you what I'm looking at. So like right now it's blue, and just in the middle of recording earlier, it just went back to red. But it's flashing. Anyway, it's annoying. Okay. It's always fun being... I'm not actually irritated, but it's fun expressing a mundane emotion while talking about something sublime. So I'm trying to get to describing to you how I've been feeling this evening while watching this light blinking blue. I think some of the numbness, just thinking of it now, it may have been that, I can get exuberant and happy watching my daughter, play and get in there. But I don't want to express, I don't feel like expressing anything around him. I don't want just, what comes to mind is like, if a kid is like joyous at a birthday party or something, and suddenly their parents pull out the camera, suddenly the joy is a little bit sucked out of the moment because someone's watching or someone's capturing this. And it's no longer just this spontaneous feeling, it's no longer as joyous. I don't like being around him at all. Anyway, and it's weird because like whenever I see him, I just want to yell at him, but you're not supposed to do that. So just a lot of my energy when I'm around him goes to not yelling at him. Yeah, that might be what's up. But anyway, after I said bye to my daughter and my ex for her to spend a couple of days with him, I decided to practice being in my body because I didn't feel like I could tell that if I didn't focus on something, if I didn't make a choice, that my mind was going to start wandering about the errands I have to run, how mad I am with him, whatever. And I just didn't feel like feeling those things. I was like, okay, all right, we've done this. I do this all the time. So trying to get my hair to be neat. This is what it does. If I don't, I'm trying to get it to not be all sticking out, but oh well. So I chose to focus on the sensations in my body. What I like about some of the things that I've been watching and listening to is that being present in your body seems to be the focus. And it doesn't, I've said this before, it feels like that's not something that can be wrong to do. It's not an ideology. Um, it's just being present with yourself. So I thought, let's do that. Because I was having all these other thoughts about the things that I've heard about awakening and how it can, your sense of self dissipates or changes, how you perceive things can kind of flatten because you realize that it's not real. I was thinking about all these things, and this is all, I would not have come up with this without having heard about it. Like, this is all, words from someone else. But what can totally be mine, and yes, I've heard other people say this, but it's also mine. And I like that I've heard it from different disciplines of being present in your body. I've heard it from, mainstream. Nowadays, it's mainstream psychology, just health practices in general, as well as spiritual practices, where being present and feeling things in your body it's not wrong to do that. That's never a mistake. So I thought, let's just do that. Let's have that be something that I can focus on. So I'm not running away with all these ideas and thoughts and things. So, even though it seemed to be boring at first, surprisingly quickly, I started feeling like I'm floating. I started feeling wasn't really light in my body. It was kind of cloudy, actually, but floating like a cloud. As I'm saying this now, it's coming back. It's easier for me to do this stuff while I'm out and about in the car or at the grocery store or doing something where there's like a single pointed activity. Because if I'm at the grocery store, I'm there to do a specific thing. And if I'm driving and if I'm doing something, it's easier for me to focus in this way. And I can have really positive experiences when I'm out running errands and grocery shopping, particularly. It's harder at home because at home, everything I look at has a story. Every room has something that needs putting away. And there's so many things that I'm like, oh, I need to do that. Everything has a story. And it kind of kept for a little while in the house. And I did notice thoughts about, coming up of what am I going to do at home. But it was cool to be in generally a sustained presence. So I could feel my body, and also there were moments at which I would notice kind of the view, how visual perception is coming in. And there were moments in which I would notice the sound, the overall sound around me. And there was a moment at which this is a concept that I heard from somewhere else, but I wanted to see how it would feel to practice this. Sitting in the car, and I was at a turn signal or in a turn lane, and I tried to perceive the combination of sensation in my body, the total soundscape, including my turn signal, booming music behind a closed window in the car next to me, the general traffic on the street. So kind of thinking of all those things, not as turn signal here, music there, sound there, but all as a soundscape that's just here, present. Combined with what I see, without the interpretation of that's there, this is here, but just this is what is seen. And then also with my body, without feeling like this is in the neck, this is in the feet, but just the sensations of the full sensationscape, so to speak, of my body without needing to locate it. So it was interesting to sit and to notice how much focus it took to be fully present in all three of those perceptions put together, I guess, of visual perception, the soundscape, and the body sensationscape, all together as perception in the present, moment to moment. I mean, living that way, moment to moment, that's a tremendous amount of focus while doing something. And it's not distracting because I can still fully, function and drive and know what I need to buy if I'm at the store. And things felt easier. Things just were going on. And I could just, maneuver traffic faster, think of what else I need easier because my mind wasn't full of other thoughts. I was just fully present. So I was like, oh yeah, I need to do that other thing. And I ended up buying stuff that I was like, oh yeah, I've needed this and I keep forgetting to get it. And that all happened while present. And it feels counterintuitive because I would think that I would need thoughts to, remember what I need. But no, the thoughts, so that's kind of the fourth scape, the thoughtscape. That thoughts would also come and go, and I could see them come in. And at first I'd be like, oh, that's a thought. Then I'd be like, okay, the thought is part of this being present. The part of the focus is to not let that thought take me out of this moment, not buy into whatever story is not here that thought brought. and to just say, oh, that showed up, and that's fine. And to not, I don't have to discount it, but I don't have to hold on to it. Yeah, it was interesting throughout the evening to notice there's all these little details that now, because I was present that whole time, they become interesting. They might sound boring as I'm describing it, but it's Saturday night. I started out the night by thinking, man, I could like call a friend, maybe go out to dinner, maybe go out, blah, blah, blah. I'm by myself on a Saturday. Just being present in my body. This is that thing of like, you're not missing out on anything. This is the place to be. Because I've done this before where I'll find something to do. I'm like, oh, it's Saturday night, and I'll go out or, hang out with friends or whatever. And I'll look back at it and be like, was that so spectacular that without it, I would have felt empty? Sometimes it is really great. But sometimes, especially when it comes from a place of like wanting to fill something, an emptiness, the bad kind of emptiness, wanting to fill like loneliness or, the way I've heard it put is like, if it's coming from a place of lacking, then it's kind of not the kind of joyous that I was looking for. And I still feel, lonely. So this filled an evening with seemingly mundane things to do, but actually a very full and interesting evening for me, because I'm finding that being right here is interesting enough. So yeah, I wanted to share that. I wanted to share my yet another moment finding the benefit in presence. I'm hoping to find more focus and more energy to do this more. And I'm looking forward to eventually letting go of anger toward my ex, because it's so boring and so annoying. And it would be nice to be able to be more, just more alive, even with his energy kind of having to be part of my life. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this kind of practice more and more. Completely knocking out anything that might show up as negative, and just experience things as just another experience. One of the choices I made tonight was like the moment I said bye to my daughter and her dad, I was like, okay, like I'm hungry. I want to like go out to dinner. Or I want to do this. And I realized that the want to eat something was me wanting to feel something other than whatever was buzzing. Like I didn't want to, I was trying to fill a space. And I thought I kind of did an override of that. And I was like, you know what? I don't need food. My body's fine. I ate just recently. I've had enough, whatever, protein and calories. Like, if I don't eat for the rest of the day, I'll be fine. So let's see if we can do that. Let's see if I can zoom in on my body and how it's feeling and um, not eat things. One of the things I was thinking about earlier today was so there were words at the beginning of the book Awake by Angelo DeLullo. I think he says, if you want a life that is more spontaneous and wonderful, full of wonder and joy, this is the place. So I thought, yes, I do. I do want that. Where was I going with this? I was thinking about the difference between being spontaneous and like having an action come from spontaneity and authenticity versus from compulsion of like, oh, I feel like doing this right now. I should just, go do that. That's my spontaneous, being spontaneous, right? It's like, there's a lot to clear out. A lot of stuff that is compulsive behavior filling a space that you have to investigate to even, sometimes you have to investigate to be able to tell that that's what's happening. Where it's actually activity within being numb or staying numb instead of activity within fully feeling everything that you're feeling. And of course, food is a sign to me that it's like, let's get some food is oftentimes, it can be a spontaneous, joyful thing, but so often in my life, it's a compulsive way to numb emotion. And it's a way to have something to focus on so I don't have to feel what my body needs to feel. Either it's an emotion that emotions show up in the body, or, a physical, whatever, a rattling or an irritation, or something I'm procrastinating with, which makes me feel uncomfortable and want to squirm out of the, feeling of whatever. So yeah, it was interesting to consider that distinction and to just remember that I've had moments, I've had times, there's like been retreats that I've been to, or just moments where I'm fully present and I feel joyful and everything looks colorful and amazing. And, that feeling of lightness. If I'm moving from a place that feels like that, then I can trust that more. Yeah, it's overall very cool to be in a place in my life where I can start trusting myself more and trusting that my judgment is the right thing to follow. Yeah. yeah, it's been fun. So yeah, wanted to share about this evening. That's how it has gone. It might be time to go to bed soon. We'll see. I'm hoping to do this more because I sat down and wrote a few pages, and I bet that the more that I do this sort of thing, the more my creativity will come back to me. It's been kind of stagnant. So I can get more stuff out and let that be what it wants to be, that creativity. Yeah, I feel like my life has been on pause for a few months now, for most of this year. And that's okay. But yeah, I feel like it's good to see where this is going. I feel like it's time, this is the beginning of an unfurling of some sort. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to doing more of what I did tonight and maybe sharing with you. I feel like ending this video with another, just feeling into my body and doing that live. All right, let's see what happens. Because ever since I got home, like I said, when I'm at home, it's harder to stay present. So as I'm saying this, I feel kind of a warmth spreading in my hips. And tingling in my head and in my forehead, and a lightness in my head. And I'm finding stillness where my heart is. And I can feel a little nervousness, maybe because I'm doing this live, so it feels a little less natural. And as I said that, there was a relaxation in my throat, like a landing on a cushion in my upper body, and a slight pressure in my ears. Now I feel light and full at the same time in my upper body, like there's a melting. And it's filling out and going lower and lower. Now, near my stomach, and flowing down into my hips and my thighs. And there's a tingling in my feet. And I feel lighter. Funny how honesty really Almost feels like it like alchemizes something in the body. Yay, the microphone's still on, I think. I'm going to go continue this and probably go to bed. Good sharing with you. And catch you later.